Hey Rice fans, welcome to another episode of Rice and Advice. I'm Dr. Jarrod Hardke, Rice Extension Agronomist with the University of Arkansas System, Division of Agriculture. Today we're looking out at an early season problem in our seedling rice field. Got a call of some things going on, so we thought we'd swing by and have a look and see what we can find out. Let's wander around a little bit. So walking along, looking in the edge of the field, we're not seeing much rice out here right now. If we zoom in a little, there is some seedling rice. Doesn't look too great, and honestly those leaves aren't all there currently, so definitely something going on. We can have a little bit more of a look around the field. One of the easiest things to note is that we are in the edge of the field, so what's nearest to us, and that would be a field that looks like it's been burned down at some point, some kind of cover crop it looks like probably over there. As we pan across, we don't see much rice near to us, but we do see some in the distance. So let's take a little bit of a wandering look and see what we can find. So now we found ourselves out here where there actually is still a little bit of rice and still growing pretty healthy. But when we have a closer look around, sure enough, we have our friend the armyworm that has moved in and working over this field. There's some different color variants. Yep, still hanging around out here. Don't see any right here that happen to be actively feeding on the plant, but they've clearly been what's working over this rice. So again, still a good stand over here in the majority of the field, so primarily that edge affected. Hard to guess exactly what percentage, but when you look at the majority of this rice and the majority of the stand, it's pretty straightforward to say that it's going to be okay. The majority of this field was luckily caught in time to take care of the armyworm problem, so that we don't have complete stand failure or anything like that. So the first step, if we find armyworms in the field, something like this, we're going to have to try to clean them up. Certainly it takes a look at how many larvae are actually out here, how severe the damage is, how they're going to continue to move to make a decision on whether to act. Most of the time this situation, seedling rice, these larvae, yes, they're going to potentially eat it back to the soil line, but the growing point is still in the ground, so all of that rice that gets mowed back should make a full recovery, come on back. Certainly the possibility of some slight delay in maturity. Typically don't see much in the way of a yield loss, other than, again, some of that delay in time could have some slight impact there that we're certainly concerned about, but probably not quite as alarming as it would appear to be. On certain cracking clay soils where this can happen, if the soil cracks open, they'll at times eat that seedling, that shoot, all the way back down to the seed itself, and when that can happen, then you can end up with complete seedling death, because they've eaten it all the way back down through the growing point and you're not getting anything back. That's not the situation here on this loamier type soil. So again, a bunch of this rice should start popping right back out of the ground in the next couple of days. Happens to have been a light shower out here, so that's going to help keep things softened up and keep that rice back growing just a little bit. We're going to keep an eye on it going forward. Here's a little closer look at some of our seedling rice. Various stages of having been chewed on in places. Some that are more untouched. We can certainly see gaps in our planting pattern where we just don't see much rice. But again, a lot of this that's been fed on, been cut back. It should grow right back out of that and be fine. And there's our culprit again right there. So if we find ourselves in this situation, one of the first things that really could have helped us out a little bit was just a little bit of, if we look over here, just a little bit of scouting of that cover crop prior to termination. May have been able to put in a pyrethroid with that application, take care of this problem before it ever had a chance to begin to desiccate, which is really what led the armyworms to move over to the next available food source, which was this rice crop. Really, from here, the most thing that you're going to recommend again is that pyrethroid application. That's what we're going to do in the rice field. Clean it up. That's going to essentially take care of the armyworm problem. Some timing delays, but good scouting effort right now, whether it's in a cover crop or just a weedy field that we're about to work down, getting ready to plant or do anything. Keep in mind what's around. And then we need to look in that residue and make sure we're not missing an insect population, those types of issues, so that if we're making a burn down herbicide application or something, that we may need to actually clean that up so that we don't have a problem in an adjacent field, whether it be ours or our neighbors, and just try to keep that in mind. Armyworms are definitely on the move. Our entomologists have noted some calls in wheat and obviously now rice. Things starting to happen, so just kind of be aware. Scout diligently when you're looking at this seedling rice, checking stands and everything coming up. Be sure you're looking for these small caterpillars, these larvae, and if it's on cloddy fields, things like that, keep in mind in the warmer parts of the day they can hide under those clods. Heavy clay soil start to crack open a little bit. Again, we have to get some dry weather to see a lot of this, but they'll hide under those clods, so you got to flip some of that dirt over and make sure if you see any feeding injury, damaged rice, start turning some clods over and looking around for them. They might be hiding in there. So with that, thanks for joining us on another episode of Rice and Advice. See you next time.